Hello, 10th class students. How are you? I hope you are doing well. Within a few days, you are going to write your annual exams. You are preparing for exams from long time. You are practicing and practicing the mathematics daily. Even though some of us has doubt to get 10 GP and or some of doubt as how to clear the exam. And we are getting tension. Exams are coming near by near. So this tension is recognized by our beloved Collector Garu and DO Garu and instructed us to do something to overcome that tension and fill the confidence among the students so that they will write exams very well and they get result very well. So in this way, we are taking initiate myself, Algam Maheshwar, ZPHS Kotapelli, and here is Samudrala Harikrishna Garu, School Assistant Maths JPHS Girls Manakonduru are going to do something about your welfare, and we are analyze the question paper and we get some tips and that we can use or you can use as uh, cheating codes as for game like that you can use this cheating codes for our exam also. So to get that tips you should stay with us till the end of the video and then you can get benefit of this video and our effort. Thank you, and over to Hari Krishna sir.
Pranjali. Once again, Namaskar. Under the dynamic leadership of our beloved Collector Madam Garu and as well as respected DO Garu, we are here with some tips and techniques to gain more marks and as well as building the confidence among the aspirants of SSC 2024. Now we will have this session how the examination pattern is going to be and how to get success in the examination are the key points of this particular session. Now, as we know, the examination structure of the examination is going to be of 100 marks and it will be split into two parts, that it is one is annual examination part which will comprise of 80 marks, whereas the second part is already you have come across it with the internal examinations which will comprise of 4 FAs and as well as project works that you have done for long 5 years period. And now this examination, annual examination part is going to be of once again split into two parts. One is part A for 60 marks, whereas the part B will be of 20 marks, which will be comprising of multiple choice questions. Now we will have a clear picture of the nature of the question paper and as well as how the say part A of is going to be. It is of 60 marks and it will comprising of three sections. Section 1 is for 6 questions and each question carries 2 marks. There is no choice at all. So we have to attempt all the questions and each question should be answered within 3 or 4 steps. Then we will move to section 2. Here in this section also we have 6 questions. Here also there is no choice at all. So we have to answer all the questions. Each question should be answered within 5 to 6 steps. Whereas section 3, it will be of 6 questions, but there is a chance, there is a choice of 2 questions. So each question should be answered within 8 to 10 steps. Now we will move to the part B portion. Part B portion is of 20 questions and the time duration for this part B is 30 minutes and each question may be comprising of a logic or 1 2 steps calculations. Now the first and foremost thing that the time management. For the long 10 years, you are preparing, you are studying school education, you have been schooling. Now, this is the time where we can get the success result. So, the time management is very important. In this time management, we have 15 minutes exclusively meant for uh, reading the question, comprehending the question paper, and selecting the best answerable questions among those 18 questions. And 3 more minutes are for cross checking simplification steps, whether we have done the simplifications in a proper way, whether all the questions are attempted. For these cross checking, we will be having 3 minutes. So overall, section 1 will be of 24 minutes. Each question is taking 4 minutes, and section 2 is of 10 minutes per question, that it is 60 minutes of duration, whereas section 3 is of 12 minutes per question, it is going to be 48 minutes. Altogether, we are having though 3 hours of duration. Now, silent features of the question. Most of the times, the students are very afraid of how the question paper is going to be. Say, phobia is also there. That is there any chapter-wise weightage? So there is no chapter-wise weightage, but however, all the chapters are going to be covered. Now, the second thing is that most of the times we are get confused. No direct question, straight question will be taken from the textbook, but this is doesn't mean that the questions are of beyond our syllabus. The thing is, no direct question may be asked, may not be asked, but the questions are going to be concept based questions. Weightage is allocated according to academic standards, not rather than the chapters of each chapter in the textbook. So already we know we have in mathematics 5 academic standards. Though according to the academic standards, the questions are going to be set. Questions designed the testing the thought process, analytic ability, estimating the understanding levels of students. And the very important thing is that the questions are having multiple answers. That is, open-ended questions are going to be asked in this new pattern. There will be no question based on the rote memory. Memorization test will not. It is not going to be a memorization test. Questions are going to be very clear, specific. No ambiguity will be in the questions. The questions may not possess the sub questions, and the important thing is that 50% of questions are going to be very easy, 30% are going to be very moderate, and remaining 20% are going to be higher order thinking levels. Now we will discuss how the marks distribution is prepared according to the academic standard. This may be called as blueprint also. We have familiar with the academic standards. We have 5 academic standards: problem solving, reasoning and proof, communication, connection, representation, visualization. For problem solving, we have 40% of weightage, that gives rises 37 marks. Reasoning and proof is of 20%, which will be of 18 marks. Communication is of 10%, that will give you 9 marks. Connections and representation and visualization is of 14 marks each, the consisting of 15% of weightage. Even though the question paper is for 80 marks, but 2 questions are mentioned for choice, so the question paper will be of 92 marks. Now we will go into detailed marks awarding of academic standard wise. For problem solving, these points should be considered while answering the questions. Identifying the given data is the first and foremost thing. mention, we have to keep all these points in our purview. While reading the question, we have to identify the given data. According to the given data, we have to select the appropriate or suitable formula or method, substituting the values in the formula, simplification, finding the solution and answer, writing the solution answer in the final step of the solution, and highlighting the formula with a box will add score. Whenever a figure is compulsory, or whenever whenever figure is necessary, drawing is also a additional benefit. So by keeping all these things, we will have some additional marks. For evaluation steps, principles of evaluation for identifying, let us take an example. Let us take an example. If a question is asked for finding the mode of a given data, for identifying the model class, you will be having half mark. For identifying L, F0, F1, F2 and H values, you will be getting 1 mark. For writing the formula for mode of grouped data, for this you have 1.5 mark. For substituting the value simplification, you are going to get 1.5 mark. For simplification, finding the value, the remaining marks will be awarded. So even if you miss the simplification, then the remaining things will worthy, so you can get more marks. So uh, mentioning each and every step is very important in problem solving. Let us move to the second point, that second academic standard, reasoning and proof. In this reasoning and proof, we have, so in this reasoning and proof also, we are to be focusing, identifying the given data, identify what is to be proven or shown, selecting the suitable method of proof. We have different types of methods of proof: direct method, indirect method. When we take the show that irrational, we will take the help of indirect method, that is contradiction. And for example, all the prime numbers are odd. So for that proof, let me take the example of, let me take the method counter example. So different time, selecting the appropriate method is also worthy. Each one more important thing is that when the question from reasoning and proof, each step should be supported by a logical argument or proven thing. Here in this case also, we have to mention the figure or draw the figure according to the necessity, writing the conclusion at the end, whether we agree or not, or whether this given statement is true or false. So awarding of the marks like will be this: writing the contradiction. Let me take the example of show that irrational, writing contradictory statement to the given statement. For selecting procedure to prove and extending the procedure, 2 marks. For making and logical arguments disapprove, to prove disapprove, that is 3 marks. Conclusion, 1 mark. So by this way, each and every step, whatever the steps that we have discussed here, are worthy. And we will move to the communication part. Steps in communication are it's very simple, and it's very easy to score marks. Writing the appropriate formula and explaining each term or letter of it is a very important thing. Sometimes you may be asked converting a verbal data into mathematical language and vice versa by suitable symbols and notations. So these are the key points. Drawing an appropriate figure for given data. Let me take the example of application of trigonometry. This type of question may be asked. So here marks awarding is like this. For writing the formula of median or mode, whatever the question may be, for writing the formula, you will be getting 2 marks. Explaining each term is going to be 2 marks. So these are the total for total will be 4 marks. So we may expect a 4 marks question from these communications. And for example, let me take the, for drawing a suitable diagram for given data. Here a application of trigonometry problem is given. For this, writing the drawing the figure and labeling it will give you the 2 marks or 4 marks. Now we will move to connections. In this connections area, we will have some key points. Let us read the question once or twice. Let we find the different concepts or different areas involved in the given data, connecting the concepts by mathematical notation and equations, and solving it for getting solution. It's a very crucial connections. You may the questions may be connecting from one chapter to another chapter. Daily life situations may be asked. So you should be very confident how we can solve the questions by identifying the different concepts. Here is a problem is given. Algebra is connected with the quadratic equations is connected with geometry. For writing the suitable quadratic equation for the given data is going to be awarded 2 marks. For solving the quadratic equation is 2 marks. So altogether we will have 4 marks question. In these connections we may expect a 6 mark question. So we have to be well acquainted with the steps. Now we will move to the visualization representation key points. When you are solving graph related problems, mentioning the scale is very important and carries 1 mark. While attempting construction related questions, drawing the rough diagram is worthy. Moreover, the construction should be always in the middle of the fresh paper. So when I want to make it very clear, when we are taking a construction step, so that the construction should be in the right in the middle of the fresh paper, so that it may not cover the other pages and may not be somewhat getting confusing. While solving the problems related to application of trigonometry, drawing the figure according to the given data and as well as labeling it is to be kept in mind. So these are the things. While attempting the problems related to similar triangles, necessary additional constructions. Let a question may be from PPT related problems. We have to sometimes we have to take the additional constructions. So that should be clearly mentioned in the answer sheet. Awarding marks for visualization representation. For drawing rough diagram, you are going to have 1 mark. For construction triangle with given measurements, 1.5 mark. For construction of a new triangle using scale factor is 1.5 mark. For writing steps of construction, 2 marks. So rough diagram is very important. Those who are struggling with the original construction, if they draw the simple rough diagram, it will give you at least 1 mark. So now we will get into the in detailed description regarding about visualization representation. Visualization representation is of 15% of 92 marks, that will give you 14 marks. So expected 6 marks questions may be from graph related question or construction related question. When a 6 mark question is taken up, graph related question may be from polynomials, parabola, a quadratic equation may be asked, and you are asked to find the zeros of the quadratic equation. So that may be one area where the graph question may be asked. And one more area is there, that is a pair of linear equations in two variables. You may be supplied two linear equations and asked to find the solution for the simultaneous equations. So when we go to another area, that it is statistics, less than OGU curve or more than OGU curves, and finding the median of the given data is the another area where the graph question may be asked. Well, when we come to the constructions part, the similar triangles chapter and tangents and secants chapter, very less number of times Venn diagrams are also asked for 6 marks question. So these are the 6 mark questions. When we come to the 2 marks questions part, similar triangles and sets, when we take the similar triangles chapter, dividing the line segment in given ratio or drawing the figure according to the data and represent the A minus B or B minus A union B, B union A. These are the questions from sets. And application of trigonometry, you may be supplied a question and you are asked to draw a figure according to the given data. These are the things that we will discuss. Understanding the questions under communication, and this is also one more important area for the beginners or for the learners. Communications is of 10% of 92, that will give you around 9 marks. So in these communications, most of the times the question may be asked from statistics. Here a set of formulas are given in this area. Here you have different methods of solution for mean, median, and mode. So writing the formula and explaining each of its terms is very important. And one more area is that the mensuration. In this mensuration, it seems to be very typical, but it's very simple. The most and important thing is that in communication, the question which will comprising of more number of letters is going to be asked. Let me take the example of TSA of cone. In this, pi, R, L, both are three terms are there. So that question may be posed in the question paper. And then we will move to the progressions part. Nth term of a arithmetic progression, sum of first in terms of arithmetic progression, and geometric progressions nth term may be asked. And one more important area is that from trigonometry, represent sine theta or cos theta in terms of other trigonometric ratios. These are the key areas where we can have the communications related problems. Understanding questions under reasoning and proof. Now we will move to the this reasoning and proof is going to be of 20 percentage. In this 20 percentage, you are going to get at least 18 marks. So nature of the questions will be how can I identify the questions related to reasoning and proof? Prove that, comment, justify, would you agree or not, give reasons. So these are the prefixes or sometimes maybe suffixes of the question. So we have to focus on those. And when the question is like that, so we should mention the reason behind that. So the focus is given while awarding the marks. The focus is given how the logical arguments are arranged in a sequence. So in this area, real numbers chapter is going to be one of the key areas. In this, show that irrational. So the exercise number 1.1 and 1.4, and the problems related to Euclid division lemma. When we come to the coordinate geometry, collinearity of points forms a rhombus or a triangle. Forms a rhombus, a parallelogram, a rectangle. And from trigonometry, exercise number 11.2, 11.3, and 11.4. When we are specific, 11.2 is nothing but the problems related to the trigonometric identities and complementary angles type questions are going to be asked for reasoning and proof. When we come to the similar triangles, application of BPT, riders related to BPT, similarity of the triangles are the key areas where the questions under reasoning and proof are going to be posed. Silent features of the question paper. Now we will very long when we take the abridged most probable questions of this question paper. So now we are taking a quick view of these questions. The 6 marks questions may be asked from statistics. The concept is going to be finding mean, mode, or median. That is reference is 14.1 and 14.3. When we come to the secants and tangents to a circle, construction of tangents, it is comes under visualization representation, exercise number 9.2, and especially examples 5, 6. When we move to the similar triangles, construction of similar triangles, exercise number 8.2, problems 11, 12, and 13. So these are the points that may be asked under visualization representation. When we go to the polynomials chapter, finding the zeros of the quadratic polynomial, construction of a parabola, and sometimes the question may be asked, verify the relationship between the zeros and as well as the coefficients of the given cubic polynomial. So these are the areas where the 6 marks question can be asked from polynomials. If it is a question for parabola, then it comes under visualization interpretation. If it is a relationship between the coefficients and as well as the zeros of the polynomial, then it comes under problem solving. Pair of linear equations in two variables, finding the solution, drawing two straight lines. So it comes under visualization interpretation. And one more thing that we have to keep in mind is that the verbal problems that can be reducible into linear equations are going to be sometimes, it's very rare times it may be asked for a 6 marks question. When we move to the mensuration chapter, CSA, TSA, and volume of combination of solids, exercise number 10.2, 10.3, and 10.4, recasting, changing one shape into recasting the one shape into another shape, how the TSA and CSA are going to be varied. These are the areas where we can have the 6 marks question from the mensuration. When we talk about trigonometry, showing find the value complementary angles, showing that the value is going to be root 3 or something. So these are the areas where we can have the questions for 6 marks. And the reference is exercise number 11.2, 11.3, and 11.4. Now when we come to the progressions chapter, the problems related to some of the first 10 terms of a arithmetic progression, or whether 0 is going to be the particular term of a arithmetic progression. These are the areas question may be posed in the question paper. When we come to the quadratic equations, verbal problems are there. So when a question is given, we have to convert it into a quadratic equation and solving them for the solution. So these the areas, the most probably when we look into the previous question papers, these are the areas where the 6 marks questions are previously asked. So it is only for reference. Thank you. Okay, we will move to the 4 marks questions. In these 4 marks questions also, we will have 7 key areas: real numbers, division algorithm, related questions, show that irrational logarithms. When we talk about division algorithm, finding the HCF, or show that any positive odd integer is of the form say 4q plus 1 or 4q plus 3. When we talk about the show that irrational, that is root 3 plus root 11 is irrational. Logarithm, if f is x square plus y square is equal to 7xy, then prove that 2 log x plus y is equals to 2 log 3 plus log x plus log y type questions. When we come to the second area, sets, cardinality, basic operations, Venn diagrams are the key areas where we can have the question. When we specifically talk about cardinality, n of a union b is equals to n of a plus n of b minus n of a intersection b may be a question for 4 marks. When we move to the coordinate geometry, show that rhombus, the parallelogram are going to be formed by the given set of 4 points. Collinearity of points is also a very specific area for the 4 marks questions. Similar triangles, basic proportionality theorem related problems, similar triangles and their areas is the prime area where we can get a 4 marks question. When we come to the application of trigonometry, heights and distances, especially 12.1 chapter 12.1 exercise problems are going to be asked. When we move to the probability, it's a very easy to be scoring, and there are limited area and only one formula is contained in this particular chapter. So those who are struggling with the calculation part may be focused, may be requested to be focused on this particular area. There are 3 areas: dice or deck of cards. Sometimes balls related problems may be asked. So exercise number 13.2 is going to be the very prime area for this probability. Now we will move to the statistics. Once again, I reiterate that in these statistics, it's a very comfortable zone for the all the group of students. So only we have mean, median, mode related formulas. It may be a very sure question under communication, and as well as the 4 marks question is going to be from communication. So the formulas are going to be well trained. Short answer. Okay. Fine.
Children, up to here we discussed about question paper pattern, how the questions will come, and how to answer the questions. So now we go for chapter-wise verification. So already sir told that there is no weightage per chapter, even though we can expect the question as per the weightage. So which question comes from which chapter, there is no other scope. So that's why we are going to do like this. So from real numbers, so most of 4 mark questions or 6 mark questions come from show that irrational. So this type of questions are 3 types of questions are there. So one is root 2, root 5, root 7, root 11, or etc. uh, are irrational. So this is the different method from the other uh, 2 plus 3 root 5 or 3 minus root 2 root 7. This type problems are different method from the root 5 and root 7. And the same way, another problems also there, both irrational numbers. That means 2 root 5 plus 3 root 6. Like these problems also there. So this three are different types. Three are the you have to show irrational. So first one you have to take uh, another way, and in second one you have to transpose either side and making square on both sides, and in third also squaring on both sides. So like that you have to show irrational numbers. So another one, Euclid division lemma. From this we can get uh, this type of problems. Any odd number is of the form of 4q plus 1 or 4q plus 3 type. Like that problems also come. And one more thing is HCF, finding the HCF by using division algorithm or Euclid division lemma. So next one is algorithms. So in algorithms, mostly problems are come under 4 marks as like this. If x square plus y square is equal to 6xy, prove that 2 log of x plus y is equal to log x plus log y plus 3 log 2 type questions also come. So here the uh, type of answer questions are different from giving the value of here the 6xy or here 3 3 log 2 like that. So here the difference will become so many problems can be created as the same form. So if you understand this term, so you can easily solve the problems under the logarithms. So next chapter is sets is a very easy subject. Who wants to uh, get more marks or who feel or fear about fail, so they can once check this chapter can get good marks. So just set builder form to roster form. Just you have to write the all the elements of the set in a set roster form. Next roster form to set builder form. What is the common uh, item is there in the all elements? You have to check and you have to write the set builder form. And types of sets, already you know, a null set, there is no elements. Disjoint sets, there is no common elements in the both sets. Subsets, so all the elements is present in other set. So like that you have to write the subset or disjoint set. So like that you may ask examples, or you have to show in a Venn diagram. Like that problems are there, very easily you can do. And another one is basic operations like union, intersection. So union means you have to write all collectively, and intersection is which are the common, you have to write that. So difference, so by subtracting that common elements you get the difference. Or cardinal number of elements is the cardinal number. So this cardinal number is quite important. They may ask to uh, find the prove the n of a plus a union b is equal to n of a plus n of b plus minus n of a intersection b. Like that questions also ask. So after that Venn diagrams. So it's a very easily you get scored more from these sets. So you can concentrate on this one. You can get very easily more marks. So next polynomials. In polynomials, uh, first check the given algebraic expression is a polynomial or not. So this type of questions gives in 2 marks question. And finding the value of polynomial like p4 p of 4 p of 0 like that. So this also given in the 2 marks question. So next one, check whether the given values are zeros of the polynomial or not. Just you substitute and find the value 0, then the both values are gives zeros. So this question may come under 4 mark question. It is a very easy question. So next one, graphical representation of the quadratic polynomial. It gives parabola like this. So here see, here scale is very important. You have to write the scale, and after that you have to identify the zeros where the parabola intersects x-axis. The value of the x-axis, you have to x coordinate, you have to write the 0. So 0 of the polynomial, which value is 0 of the polynomial, you have to write here, and here you have to write scale. So that is a very important, and the marks also given for that also. So relation between zeros and coefficients of the polynomial. So this is in three ways. First, linear equation. So linear polynomial. In linear polynomial, very easily, k is equal to b by a, where k is equal to constant term by coefficient of x. And in quadric polynomial, sum of the zeros is b minus b by a, product of zeros c by a. So like that, cubic polynomial also are very important. They are asking that sum of the zeros, product of the zeros, and uh, product of some zeros have taken two at a time. Like that, they are asking. So if you concentrate on this one, you can get marks easily. Uh, After that, we move uh, for writing the equation as a polynomial by giving the zeros. Suppose they give a two zeros, you have to write quadric polynomial. So the formula is x square minus alpha plus beta of x plus alpha beta. Then you can get the uh, quadric polynomial. So for the cubic polynomial also the same way, x cube minus alpha plus beta plus gamma of x square plus alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha of x minus alpha beta gamma. So this gives the quadric polynomial while given three zeros. Now moving for pair of linear equation in two variables. So they may ask graphical method of finding solution of pair of linear equation. While here, so you should test the consistent or inconsistent or parallel lines. So like that, first you have to check. Afterwards, the lines, maybe you may draw the graph or you may find in algebraic method. So first you have to check whether they are intersecting lines or coincident lines or parallel lines are consistent, inconsistent, or uh, dependent. So which type of lines that are given? So first you have to check by b1 by b a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. There is only one unique solution will be there, exactly one solution. So a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by 2. So these are coincident lines, infinitely many solutions. So a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is not equal to c1 by c2. There's a parallel lines, there is no solution. So by doing this only you can say whether the unique solution or infinite solutions are no solution. And the same according to that you can draw or go for algebraic solution. So algebraic methods of finding the solution of pair of linear equation is one is a substitution method, another is elimination method. So while substituting, you should find x coordinate or y coordinate are 1. You can go for the substitution method. Whether the values of coordinates of the x or y are different, questions of x and y are different, you go for elimination method. Is that good? So after that, equation reducible to the pair of linear equation in two variable. So sometimes the variables are in denominator. So at that time you have to reduce substitute for that common variables is PR, QR like that, and afterwards you have to solve that and you have to substitute the values. You can get the value of that equation solution. So after that, quadratic equations. See, in quadratic equations, the definition also needed to remember. A polynomial p of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus c is the general form we can say. So order of the degree of 2 is called quadratic polynomial. Then p of x is equal to 0 is known as a quadratic equation. So if it is polynomial is equal to 0, that gives a quadratic equation. Quadratic polynomial is equal to 0, that we call that equation, quadratic equation. So methods to find the solutions of the quadratic equation. So three methods are there to find the solutions of the quadratic equation. So one is factorization method, and another is completing the square method. The last one is quadratic formula method. So x is equal to minus b plus or minus under root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So after that, nature of the roots. So here b square minus 4ac, we call that discriminant. So value of the b square minus 4ac, we can uh, comment on the roots, nature of the roots. So if b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, the two distinct real roots will be there. So if b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, two equal roots are there, and b square minus 4ac is less than 0, no real roots exist. So this is simple things if you keep in mind. So you can solve the problems which is come from the quadratic equations. So next, progression is one of the easiest chapter what we are doing talking about. So one is sets, another is this progression. Easily we can get marks. There is no much calculation and much remember and much following remembering any formulas like that. So easily we can get marks if you prepare sets and progressions. See here, general form of AP means arithmetic progression. And AP can be written as A, A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D. Like that, we can write the general form. Here, A is the first term and D is the common difference of any two subsequent terms. So this we call common difference. In the term of an arithmetic progression, most of the times they ask that nth term or which term is gives this value. Like that, they ask. For that, we have to uh, remember that this formula, nth term formula. The nth term of AP with first term and common difference D is given by an is equal to a plus n minus 1 into D. An is also called as general term of the AP. So here are the formulas for sum of the first n terms of AP. So sum of n terms is equal to n by 2 of 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So this is one of the formula where a is equal to first term, d is equal to common difference, and n is number of terms. Also, it can be written as sum of n terms is equal to n by 2 of a plus an or al. L is represent last term. So these are the two, three formulas. They may ask in communication also. So you have to write the formula and you have to write the every letter. So what it represent. So easily you can get marks here also. So in last year exams there is two questions on communications. One is 2 marks, one is 4 marks. So if like so you are very get easy to get marks by uh, learning that formulas. So if go for next geometric form progression. So here list of numbers A1, A2, A3 is called geometric progression. If each term is non-zero and where n is a natural number, n is greater than 2, and n by n minus 1 is equal r. The common ratio will be the same. So this we call common ratio in the represented by r. This is an by an minus 1 or a2 by a1, a3 by a4, like that. Any uh, consequent two terms ratio is same, that we call common ratio of that geometric progression. So in there also general term of the that we call nth term of the GP with first term a and common ratio r is given, then an is equal to a r to the power of n minus 1.
Okay.
As in coordinate geometry, there is only 3 or 4 formulas are there. If you remember these 3 formulas, So you can do any problem from the coordinate geometry. So one is distance formula. Already you know that under root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So this we can use finding the distance between 2 points. So here some problems show that the given points are rectangular vertices or like that we can do. And this is second one is section formula. So in section formula, there is one more important question will come as the trisection points of a line. So equally three parts doing the 2 points we have to find. So we have to draw the line and identify that 2 points, and you have to write, suppose AB is the line, you have to identify P and Q are the middle points. AP is equal PQ is equal QB, and then you have to write the P is divides AB into 1:2 and go on find the point, and afterwards Q is divides the AB 2:1 in ratio and finding the point by section formula. The 2 points are said to be trisection formulas points to the line given line. So another one is midpoint formula. So here some more things we have to I didn't remember that geometrical uh, part of rectangle or square or rhombus. What are the properties of that one? So how the diagonals and how the opposite sides, how the consequent sides. So like that you have to remember, then you can easily solve that problems.
Now we will move to similar triangles, where the questions are going to be from the similar triangles chapter. The problems related to basic proportionality theorem and its related problems. In the given figure, D and E are points on the AB and AC respectively, such that DE is parallel to BC. If AD is equals to X and DB is equals X minus 2, AE is equals X plus 2 and EC is equals X minus 1, then find the value of X. This type of questions are basically asked for 4 marks, or sometimes so in this area we have to prove that we have to make use of the basic proportionality theorem, and we have to take the ratios of the AD by DB and AE by ECs and converting them into quadratic equations, then we will find the solution. Now we will have the second area, criteria of the similarity of the triangles. In the given figure we have AB and AB, CD, EF are parallel. Here also we have to make use of the by reading the question, we have to make use of the similar triangles and as well as the basic proportionality theorem to solve the problem. Now we will move to the third area, areas of similar triangles and related problems. The ratio of perimeters of two similar triangles is 3:7, then find the ratio of their areas. We have already known the areas are in the ratio of the corresponding sides, but here is perimeters are there, perimeters are given, so perimeters ratio is as same as their sides ratio, so it will make simple the solution. Now we will move to some other areas, construction related problems. Construct a triangle with your own measurements, then construct a similar triangle to that. In that scale factor is going to be 2.2 by 5. So this is already, we have already discussed so many times, so it's very easy to construct. Draw a line segment. This the very first question is of 6 marks, and for 2 marks it may be a question. Draw a line segment and divide it in 2:3 ratio internally. So Pythagoras theorem related problems. This question, it's very simple. Making use of the Pythagoras theorem, the question may be answered very easily. So if you are well versed with the Pythagoras theorem, it may be helpful in so many areas. So be confident in using Pythagoras theorem. Here the next example is that in a right angle triangle, length of the hypotenuse is 6 centimeters more than the shortest side. The length of the other side is 3 centimeters less than the hypotenuse. Then find the lengths of all the sides of the triangle. This is a question which comes under connections. So it makes a connection question, and it is under the Pythagoras theorem. So this type of questions may be asked in from these similar triangles. Now we will move to tangents and secants to a circle. So length of the tangent, and external point is given, and center of the circle is given. Here also we will make use of the Pythagoras theorem. So by using Pythagoras theorem, we are going to find the radius of the circle. Sometimes it may be the question may be asked for finding the length of the tangent, or so in all these cases we have to make use of the Pythagoras theorem and the properties of the circle. Yeah, and here it is a if a chord AB of a circle of radius 10 centimeters, making a right angle at the center of the circle, then find the area of minor segment. It's a very simple question I have taken for the example. Segments area is nothing but triangles area and as well as sectors area. Sector area means triangle area will give you the segment area. So related on this particular two formulae, you are going to solve the some problems. This may be a question for 4 marks. Construction of tangent related problems. Here we have different types of situations from an external point. Now I am giving a first example is that from an external point. So first we have to draw the circle with the given measurements. Then we have to take an external point P. Now we have to join these two, whatever the lines shown, whatever the lines or curves are shown in dotted figure are the constructions. So we have to make join the P and QO. Then we have to make the perpendicular bisector. Then this newly drawn the perpendicular bisector will divide the line segment PO at M. By making use of M as the center, we have to draw radius as OM, and we have to draw a circle. So that circle will intersect the original circle Q and Q dash. These 2 points are going to be point of contact. This is the steps of construction for an external point. Then we will move to tangent to a tangents inclined at an angle. Here also we have to make first we have to draw a circle, then we have to take a radius. Now making use of a compass, what we have learnt in the previous classes, we have to make 120 degrees. By making that 120 degrees, we have to locate the point B on the center, on the circle. Now B join OB. From this point B, we have to make a perpendicular. Then we have to draw a perpendicular from B, and in the same way we have to make a perpendicular line from A. Both will be intersecting at P. If we check, verify ourselves, the angle at P is going to be 60 degrees. This is the way how we can construct a tangent inclined at an angle. Now one important thing that I want to reiterate is that self verification is very important. If we get 60 degrees of angle after construction, then it is obviously we are going to get 6 marks for this particular question. Now finding the center, it's a question for 2 marks. The thing is that we will be given a circle, we have to find out the center of it. So for that we have to take any two chords, and for these two chords we have to make the perpendicular bisectors. Where the perpendicular bisectors will intersect each other, that is the point where the center of the particular circle is going to be located. Now from a this is a very simple question, and it is also of for 2 marks. So circle is given, we have to draw a tangent to a circle which is a point on the circle. So for this we have to draw a circle, then we have to take a external point away from the circle. Then we have to make you join these 2 points. Then we have to make a perpendicular bisector to that particular line segment that what we have drawn. That is going to be the tangent of the circle at the given particular point. So this is the tangents and secants. Now we will move to mensuration area. This is a very useful in our daily life too. So here in this case, CSA, LSA, TSA volume of solids is the key area where we can have a 2 marks question. Surface areas of combination of solids. So here a toy is mounted on a cone, or rice heap is in the form of a cone, and it is converted into some other canvas is needed to cover it. So these are the areas where we can have a question of CSA, LSA, the surface of combinations. So volume of combination of solids. A well of diameter 2 meters is dug 14 meters depth. The earth taken out of its spread evenly all around it from an embankment of height 40 centimeters. Find the width of the embankment. This is the area, whatever the volume that we have arrived from the digging of the well is going to be spread over the path. So the volumes are going to be equal. So by making use of this simple connection, we will solve the problem. Conversion of solids from one shape to another shape, that is once again in another way it may be called as recasting. Recasting, when we are recasting the solids, so both the figures will have the same value. So this is the very important thing that we have to keep in mind while solving the problems of this particular recasting. So volumes will be same, but whereas the combination is taken whereas the combination is considered, the surface areas are going to be varied, but the volumes are same. Now we will move to trigonometry key concepts. Problems related to trigonometric ratios of specific angles. So find the value of, we have already some specific angles 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90 degrees. If we are well versed with these table, it's going to be very helpful. My sincere appeal to each of you is that before starting answering the questions, it is better to write down the trigonometric ratios values for the specific angles in the very beginning of the answer script. It will be helpful for not only part A, second part A part, and as well as part B part. So this is a question where we can make use of this particular angles, particular values of specific angles. So now here it is a question: cos A minus B is equals root 3 by 2 and sin A plus B is equals root 3 by 2. Then solve them for getting the values of A and B. Here also the specific angle values are going to be very useful. So my sincere, once again I reiterate that the table is very important to write down in the very beginning of the solutions. Problems related to trigonometric ratios of complementary angles. So here in this type of questions, it's very simple. No need to get hurry or confused. Simple thing is that we have to keep one trigonometric ratio in this as it is, and we have to look at the another trigonometric ratio from where we can get the term to be transferred into the another trigonometric ratio. Here you see when it's very clear in the second example, 2 sine square 63 degrees plus 1 plus 2 sine square 27 degrees. 63 and 27 are going to be making a sum of 90 degrees. So we can we can change any one of these two. We will give you it will give you the first trigonometric identity, so that the trigonometric ratios will be disappeared and the numerical value will be arrived in the place of those. In the same way, when you look at the denominator, cos square 17 degrees, here 17 degrees and 73 degrees are the complementary of each other. So you have to we have to keep one term as it is, and we have to convert the other term into the numerical value of the 17 degrees. For let us take the example 73 degrees. Just simply write, convert cos square 73 degrees as sin square 17 degrees. It's very simple. So then just writing converting the one of the terms into another trigonometric ratio is will give you the solution of this particular problem. Problems related to trigonometric identities. Here, if sec theta plus tan theta is equals to m, then show that sin theta is equals m square minus 1 by m square plus 1. This is a very regular question. Most of the times, this question may be asked for 6 marks or 4 marks. And one more important thing that I want to mention is that when I have the evaluation in my service, I have seen around 17 different types of solutions for this particular problem. So whichever the way that is comfortable to you, that may be selected for the solution. So well acquainted with the well-known procedure to find the solution of this particular problem. Now we will move to the another. This is also a problem where we can make use of the identities. So one more important point I want to mention is that writing the trigonometric identities in the very beginning of the paper and as well as the trigonometric ratios table is very helpful for getting most marks. Expressing one trigonometric ratio in terms of another trigonometric ratio, this is also going to be a very interesting thing. Simply making use of the identities, we will make use of this particular, we will solve this particular area. Now we will move to the application of trigonometry. Now this is the area where we can get a 6 marks question or 4 marks question. Problems related to angle of elevation and angle of depression. Now we will move to a simple basic figures that are going to be in this particular chapter. Angle of elevation, when the observer is on the ground or at the lower level of the object, then the observer makes an angle of elevation. Now the observer is looking top to his height, so in this area we are going to get a angle of elevation. When we are talking about the angle of depression, when the observer is above and the object is in the below of the observer, then we are making use of angle of depression. When we have a question of angle of depression, we have to draw this dotted line and we have to mention the angle at here. Then afterwards we have to make another line here, and we have to make a draw another line and we have to mention the angle here. But not directly the angle at here will not make the sense. So that point should be kept in your mind. Now drawing figures to solve the problems. So whenever the tower or building is given, there is no need to draw the tower or building. Simply drawing a line will make the purpose. Solutions for triangles of now we will discuss in general. Now here we have two men on either side of the temple of 30 meters height. Observe the top of the angle of elevation at 45 degrees and 60 degrees respectively. Find the distance between the two men. Here for this, in this case, both the angles are of angle of elevation. So according to the given data, we have to draw this figure. Drawing this figure and labeling the figure is going to be around 2 marks. So we have to clearly mention the uh, labels and as well as the angles very specifically. Now we will move to the angle of elevation of a jet plane from a point A on the ground is 60 degrees. After a flight of 15 seconds, the angle of elevation changes to 45 degrees. Here in this case, the diagram is going to be like this. So now the flight is at F, and after moving 15 seconds of duration, it is moved to E. So the angle is changed here. So the thing is, according to the given data, we have to draw the figure in whatever shown in this particular figure. So drawing the figure is very important for for gaining more score. Angle of elevation on the same sides. Now we will take another example. Now the observer is at some point here. Now he moved to this point. So the movement of the observer is observed in this case, whereas the object is moved in the previous case. So both the cases are of seems to be same, but the thing is the object is moved here in the second here in this problem, whereas the observer is moved in this particular problem. Angle of depression. Now a problem is consisting of one angle of elevation and as well as angle of depression. Now the observer is at point C. Now he is observing a object at point A, and he is also observing a point at B. So B observing the point B is going to be angle of depression. Observing the point at A is going to be angle of elevation. Here I am once again reiterating that when the angle of depression is given, a dotted line should be mentioned and the angle of depression should be mentioned here. Afterwards, by making use of the alternate interior angles help, we have to mention the angle here. That is very important. Now from the top of a tower of 50 meters high, a student observes the angle of depression of the top of the top and foot. Here in this case we have both the angles of depression. Here one angle is angle of elevation and another angle is of depression, but here in this case the observer is at point A and he is observing a building top and the foot of the building. So here the question is of both the angles are of depression. So here we have, I hope all the different types of situations are discussed in this slide. Now we will move to probability. It's a very helpful for the beginners or for the slow learners, or who are making who are afraid of the um, mathematics subject. So these are the things. Now we are probability is a very easy chapter for all the students, which will make use of the probabilities of very high scoring chapter. Here in this we have, okay, here we have only one formula in this particular chapter. We have only one formula in this, that it is finding the probability number of positive favorable outcomes to an event E by number of possible all possible outcomes. So P of E is equals to N of E by N of S. When we write it in symbolic way, P of E is equals to N of E by N of S. So, if you write in verbal format, P of E is equals number of outcomes, favorable outcomes to E by number of all possible outcomes. Now complementary events are there. For that, P of E bar is equals to 1 minus P of E. And impossible events, the events which are not possible, their probability is going to be 0. Certain events are sure events, or certain events are there, their probability is 1. Now the important area where we can get a problem, that is deck of cards. In deck of cards we have total possible outcomes is going to be 52. So always a question is asked from deck of cards, the denominator is going to be 52. So depending upon the face cards, black color cards, red color cards, symbols, so we have to count them up and we have to mention the numerator. It's very simple. Always, if you write the denominator, if a question is asked for deck of cards, the denominator is always going to be 52, as the number of cards is 52. So just changing the numerator according to the question asked in the question paper, you are going to get full marks. Now, one more area is that two dices are rolled simultaneously. If one dice is rolled, only we have 6 total outcomes. When the two dices are rolled simultaneously, we have 6 to the power of 2 or 36 total outcomes. From that, here it is a table. It's a very simple table that can be understood very easily. 1 2 3 4 5 6 on the first row, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 on the first column. That will give you all possible outcomes. According to the question, we have to write down the numerator only. The denominator is also is always going to be 36. And now the thing is, when 2 or 3 coins are tossed, when a coin is tossed, possible outcomes are going to be head or tail. When two coins are tossed, now that combination will be of 4. When 3 coins are tossed, it is going to be 8. So depending upon the number of coins tossed, and the related problems can be discussed. Now here it is a circle or dot board. Here in that dot board, 8 segments are given. That if a dot is focused on it, what is the probability of getting one? So total possible outcomes is going to be 8, and favorable is going to be, if it is 1, then 1 by 8. Likewise, we have to answer the questions very easily. So once again, I want to mention that finding the probability is the formula. Only one formula is mentioned in this particular chapter. That should be well acquainted with each and every person. So impossible events probability is 0. Certain events possibility is 1. So this is the area where we can have. Now we will move to statistics. In this statistics, we have already discussed many a number of times: mean, mode, median, and graphical representation of the median related problems. So in mean, we have three different areas, that is direct method, deviation method, and step deviation method. So these three formulae, and as well as mode formula and median formula. Altogether 5 formulas are there. If we are well versed with these 5 formula, then we are going to get a question of 4 marks and as well as a question of 6 marks, finding the mean or median or mode. So just making sure that these are well acquainted with you. Now we will move to OG curves. OG curves are of two types: less than OG curve and more than OG curve. Less than OG curve is going to be used many a number of, is asked many a number of times. By that we can find the median also. Now we will move to direct method. When a question is asked for solving and finding the mean by direct method, here we will be supplied with a class interval and frequency. Now whatever the new columns that we are going to formulate are x class mark and as well as the product of the frequency and class mark. So when a question of direct method for mean is asked, two more columns should be incorporated. Now we will move to deviation method. When a question for mean by using deviation method, then we will have already we see a class interval and as well as frequency. We have to add class mark, deviation, that is x minus a is nothing but the assumed mean from the class mark, and the third column is product of the frequency and deviation. So three more columns should be added. Now we will move to the step deviation method. In the step deviation method, we will be having four new columns, that is class mark, deviation and ui is nothing but x minus a by h and fu. The four columns are going to be x, d, u and fu. So these are the things that should be kept in your mind. When a question is asked for median, only one column should be added, that is cumulative frequency. And interesting thing is that when we are asked to find the mode, there is no need to write additional column for that particular question. So this is all from the statistics chapter. So well acquainted with the formulae, how many columns should be added to the given data are the key areas for getting more marks from the statistics chapter. Thank you. That's good.
Right, up to here, we discussed all the things about question paper and how the questions will come and which type of questions come from which chapter, how to answer the questions. These are all things we are learned up to here. We discussed here. So the cheating codes, what I said, that cheating codes now we can do. So very easily we can pass mathematics. There is no uh, feeling of hard or fear of fail. So just by heart or learn the formulas of statistics. Three formulas are there, and some two or three problems from geometric operation or arithmetic progression, and in quadratic equations like that. Only few problems are there. As few formulas are there. If you by heart them or if you learn them, so it will gives more marks. So they may come in a communication. Already you can write every letter of that formula and you get marks are there. And if you use it in problems, so there also you get the marks. So by using that formula, any problems appear in come in examination, you can use that, write the formula and data, you can get marks. And here some more tips are there. So for every question, what you understand, the given data you have to write, what you have to find, that you have to write. Then if you know the formula, you write that one. So it gives the marks. No need the if you not solve all the problem, even though you can get marks by writing the data and what we have to find. And if you know the formula also right, so you can get the marks by not solving also. So like this uh, for every question. So for graph, just write the scale and draw the origins means x-axis, y-axis, draw a parabola. So that gives us marks. So like that, if you go for construction, just draw the uh, rough diagram and write the data, also give the marks. So if you are unable to draw the diagram, it is very easy to learn the constructions. Only few constructions are there in similar triangles or in secants and tangents. The two or three constructions are there. If you learn them, so they will give compulsory marks for you and to get good marks. And also very easy chapter is there. There is a sets. So you should go through the easy chapters. One is sets, and there is progressions and probability. And if you go for coordinate geometry or like that, very simple problems, simple concepts are there. If you go through that, you get very good marks and you can pass easily. So I hope you are all follow this farm concepts and uh, tips to get good marks.
Here the final tips for getting 10 GPA. Impress the examiner by your good handwriting and clear mentioning of the answers. The question numbers should be mentioned in the margin. Each question's answer should be separated by a line. The formulae or the procedure which is going to be highlighted should be properly highlighted with a box, and as well as the calculation part should be on the right side of the question paper, right margin. When you are attempting a question for constructions, clearly mention the rough diagram. The original construction should be in the right in the middle of the paper. And when we are going for a graph question, scale should be selected for the suitable values of the calculation. And wherever the diagrams are required, clearly draw the diagrams using a pencil. The extra constructions for the given diagram should be mentioned with a dotted line. And the only thing that in our hands is to show our talent by our handwriting only, because the examiner is very unknown person to us. Whatever the thoughts, whatever the things that are in our mind should be in the our writing. So keep going good writing, and in the at the last try to attempt the remaining two questions which were left for choice. When you are attempting the part B portion, the calculation should be done properly. Don't be get confused. uh, Check the calculations with a cool mind before going to start your solutions. Take a long breath and feel that you are in a positive attitude. Whatever the questions that will come under the question paper are very well known to us, feel so. And if a problem is making a worried mood, then skip that problem and go for the next problem. So don't stick on to the problem which is making a trouble to you, and don't be confused, worried about that particular problem. Thank you. All the best, Irfan. All the best. All the best from all the maths fraternity from the Karimnagar district to all the aspirants of SSC 2024. We hope that you learned a lot more things from this discussion. Thank you.